And now we bring in Mark Willard, who I'm sure he wants to lord over the Belt Wars one final time and put his little spin on it. But Mark, Brandon Belt, you heard the news last night going to Toronto. Zone. No, I didn't mean it like that. I meant like put your mark on it. Excuse me. Mark Willard.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm flustered today. I'm in the big one seat today.
Why? I know you have
I'm flustered.
You're back to having a partner with your radio show.
I'm learning
Is that
cadences.
the problem?
The mouse didn't work. I'm all over the place.
Your clock management's elite, by the way. Elite clock management.
Hey,
you're hitting the brake, dude. Trust me.
I'll hit brakes. The show might not be good, but we're not going to lose because of the algorithm.
The show actually is great. The show's been great. Really enjoying it. Yeah.
Pinocchio.
I'm a roaster.
Exactly.
Real quick, before you get to Belt, did you see his TikTok video?
I saw it, but I didn't listen to it.
The day before or yesterday?
Get Money. No, he had Get Money in the background, and he's taking TCU the over. I could barely hear him.
He took TCU?
No, he took the over. He was right.
Okay. Oh, it was? Okay, here it is right here. Listen to it right here. I was dying. I guess the mouse isn't working on that side either. Man. So it was Guru. He took the over in the national championship.
He took the over 62 points, and he said, "Let's get right," because he had taken the Jags the night before.
Oh man,
he had taken the Jags in that Sunday, the
so
Sunday night football game. Or yeah, he's 1-1.
Good.
Yeah,
ride the goo.
Okay, first of all,
so good.
The really funny part is obvious and doesn't even need comment. But the second part is he's going to come in with a sniff today.
What do you mean?
Because he was right, but he was wrong within being right.
What do you mean?
Well, his lead up to the over was they're calling Georgia the new Alabama. Slow down. TCU can run with this team. TCU can run with this team, and so I'm taking the over because both of these teams are going to have a score fest. No, Georgia covered it by themselves.
Yeah, and TCU ran 20 yards behind all game.
They are the new Bama. Wow. They are the new Bama.
No, sorry, guys. I don't mean to be a millennial on my phone here, but somebody on the YouTube chat said that Correa to the Twins, so I was trying to figure it out if it actually happened. It seems like it's getting real close.
Yeah,
it seems like it's getting real close.
A lot of smoke. A lot of smoke.
Yeah.
Brandon Belt, you scoffed at the Belt Wars comment. Why?
Because there is no Belt Wars. I mean, every fourth game, Brandon Belt fulfilled his promise. And I remember Brandon Belt as a single A player in San Jose. I was doing color commentary with the great Joe Rizzo.
San Jose Muni?
He hit 380 in the first half as a single A player. The guy was unbelievable. And it's like, okay, Will Clark, step aside. We've got the new first baseman. And then he comes up to the big club, and it was a lot of, fits and starts. It was, a lot of promise. And then, elbow tweak, knee tweak, my hip, my neck, and my back. Whatever it was, the guy was always hurt. And the one good year when they won 107 games, he finally stayed healthy. He finally flashed. And just the whole Belt Wars thing is hilarious to me.
But then he got hurt for the playoffs, which was so unfortunate on the broken wrist or whatever, right before the playoffs. And they needed him so bad. That was like the 1 year they
The 1 year,
I felt so bad for him.
I guess the thing that always sort of makes me scratch my head about this, you called it, for instance, his promise. I don't remember him ever promising anything. Players come up.
No, it's the promise of what a player could be.
So here's what I would say as somebody departs. It's a different kind of a vibe for me when someone departs, because I'm not here on a day like today to point to all of the things Brandon Belt wasn't. And there are plenty of things that he wasn't.
Healthy.
However, if you enjoyed parades on Market Street, today's a day to salute the good from Brandon Belt. Barry Zito, for crying out loud, got paid twice as much and essentially had one good game, one good moment for the Giants. And we actually now support him for that. He's actually got, if he wants, a media vibe in the Bay Area, a future here. Leave your credit card in your wallet, Barry, because he was involved in a key way in a championship. Brandon Belt was much more to this organization than Barry Zito was. And so you're not wrong. The Belt Wars will live forever, and everyone knows what side of the fence anyone is on. But Brandon Belt had a good career. I don't want to compare him to JT Snow today. I don't want to go back to Boch offering him a beer and what that all was supposed. Whatever. Brandon Belt had a really solid career as a San Francisco Giant. Was it great? Maybe that's too big of a word. He was a key piece with memorable moments on championship teams, and so I'm digging my Brandon memories today.
That's fair, totally fair. The thing that I would say is that the frustrating thing for me when it comes to just conversing about Belt, when we talk about Will Clark, nobody has to give up 75 different advanced sabermetric analytics to explain how great he was. And one thing that really bugs me, it's the Farhan baseball way. It's the way we talk about baseball. It's nerds in sports. Is it the way the Brandon Belt supporters, not Brandon Belt himself, but the way they go over the top to put together a, algebra test of explanation on why he's so great drives me nuts. And it ruins what I deem to be great conversations about sports, because we talk about it in these DVOA ways, if you know what I'm talking about, going to fans. It just drives me nuts. Yeah. And it just, all the Brandon Belt fans always point, look at his WAR. Look at his WAR. We were talking about this morning. Dibs, if I say to you, WAR is such a flawed stat. Ozzie Smith, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Defense.
Is he one of the greatest ever at shortstop?
Probably.
Yeah, especially defensively.
The flip.
WAR does not quantify how great you are in defense.
He's number one all-time in defensive WAR, though. So if we want to look at defensive WAR,
for
there's
sure.
Offensive WAR.
I'm just looking at combined WAR, because this is what people always
Exactly.
point to WAR, and it's a flawed stat. Willie Randolph, a really good player. Really good player. Is he in the same breath as Ozzie Smith?
Probably not defensively, but offensively he was a better player.
Offensively he was. WAR-wise, they're almost identical. But when you bring up the two names, like in a baseball conversation, most people are like, yeah, Willie Randolph's a really good player. Ozzie Smith's an all-timer.
This is a great comp, though, because one of the things we've been saying in the Farhan regime with the Giants is you can play the WAR game, but you haven't given us any players that really attach to our hearts. So the reason Ozzie Smith is better than Willie Randolph, you can go to the numbers, apparently, and decide that they're the exact same player.
Yeah.
But they're not.
But they're not.
Because Ozzie Smith would do flips at shortstop, had a cool nickname, and
one of the most acrobatic players ever played the game.
And a generational home run, and all of those things. And so
Go crazy, folks.
Exactly.
Such a great homer.
He's 10 times more memorable than Willie Randolph. So, you know what I mean?
And I like Willie Randolph, but it's one of my WAR things. It bugs the hell out of me. We go to WAR, and it's like Bill James has already told you WAR it's flawed. It's a great measurement, but it's not the only thing.
Well,
I feel like baseball fans now, they want to win the argument in 140 characters by pointing to WAR. It's like, come on, man. What's Will Clark's WAR? I don't know, but he was damn good, and I'd love to go to war with him any day.
But do you think the Brandon Belt wars per se, like when we talk about the Jimmy Garoppolo wars, is Jimmy Garoppolo good or bad versus good to very good? When it's Brandon Belt, is it because you're talking about guys that think he's great? I've always thought that the Brandon Belt conversations were good to not good. I don't know many people that try to argue good versus great.
Right. No, he's not great.
No.
Although I'd argue pretty hard, he's definitely not Good.
Well, I think that's what you see.
Brandon Belt was a pretty high level. I'll stop short of the word elite, but a very high level defensive player. Obviously, is in maybe the best eye I've ever seen at the plate. Sometimes almost to the point of annoyance because he was like, but Bonds got the benefit of like if it was on the corner, it was a ball anyway.
Yeah, but like part of having a great batter's eye is also not striking out.
Yes,
right? This is the guy who's the all-time leader in strikeouts for the Giants. So you automatically eliminate yourself if you want to go eye.
Let's say you had a great command of the strike zone.
I'll give you that.
And yes, when healthy, which was never enough. It was pretty good hitter.
Good
hitter.
And he had his moments, and like obviously the 18th inning home run is one that's going to live forever, and that's his moment. You can never take away from him. I also think he was a phenomenal digger out of the ball, which is something you can't quantify.
Every time that comes up, least favorite, and I've had plenty of them. My least favorite migraine headache that I've ever had in my life. The 18th inning Brandon Belt home run.
I remember exactly where I was.
I couldn't stay awake for it. I was in bed. This is how that
he gets
play
migraines, and when he gets a migraine, it's over.
You know what you need? You need the weed.
Yeah.
Look at you advertising for the lettuce.
We worked on that in college. It didn't work. But anyway, maybe that is why they went away in college.
Me and Dibs?
Yeah,
seriously.
Well, yeah, talk to me. Let's all my people.
So
anyway,
you were in bed?
I made it to the 12th inning. I made it to the 13th inning, and then I just laid down and I put the game cast up on my computer next to bed and watched that way. And then I passed out. And I woke up, and you know how that migraine feels over one eye, where it's just like
I get them all the
blasting.
time.
So I opened one eye, and I looked across the room at the laptop, and it was just said 2-1 F 20-18, and I looked at it and I could see I was close enough to see that Belton homered. And that's how I found out. I slept through the whole thing.
Let me throw the name to you guys. Yasmero Petit.
Oh yeah.
Look at Dibs.
Gutsy
Dibs.
effort there.
Pitched 47 innings in that game.
Seriously.
Where were you for that game?
I can't remember.
I've got a great story. I was
Yeah.
at a wedding in Reno, and we were the only ones dressed in suits. It's like 100 degrees. They're all cowboys.
Casino or
No, we're in
outdoor
like a
venue?
desert farm somewhere
Okay.
in the middle of Reno.
Nice.
And so I'm watching on the phone Gamecast like him because they won't let you like watch the video back then at that
Terrible.
time. Yeah, and it's like, oh my god, they're taking him out. This was Dusty Baker taking somebody out in the final inning, and then Pablo hit a ball down the line, and Buster scored. We get all the way back, end of the party. Well, I'm in Reno. We're staying at the Pepper Mill. I go down in the
Love
suit
the
with my
Pepper
wife.
Mill.
Yeah,
So
and I
good.
watched the game at the Pepper Mill, and I'm going crazy at the sports book. It's one of my favorite memories of Giants baseball.
Wow.
It's a great one.
Isn't
dude.
there?
Reno's
you had-
got-
you
they got
had
some
me at-
Giants fans
you
out there.
had me at Pepper Mill. I
Seriously.
didn't care
And
what
Pepper
else
Mill
you
has
said.
a
I'm
Jewish
like,
deli that goes off.
oh, so good.
I'm a big Pepper Mill
No,
guy.
the Mill's legit. Yeah.
I was just going to say Reno in general, I think it's a little underrated. I
Agreed.
think Reno's a
During
little
the day,
underrated.
it's a rough watch.
Okay.
At night, it's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Look, it's the biggest little city in the world.
There you
So,
Tough to get there this time of year. Low Neal,
tough to
Guru,
get
and I
anywhere
did
right
a
now.
live broadcast from there when the Raiders made the playoffs with Connor Cook. So we had
Oh my God.
our station had a deal
Oh
with
my
the Pepper
God.
Mill. So the deal was the three of us were going to broadcast from the Pepper Mill
Yeah.
on Saturday as kind of a pregame
Yeah.
Raiders show, and I go to station management before look, and I said to O Canada, who was running the show then, I said, dude, I got a Honda Fit.
The Dawn.
I'm gonna need to rent a car
Yeah.
because it's snowing.
Yeah.
So we rent a 4-wheel drive car. It's me, the Goo, and Low Neal.
No.
Stop it.
Guru's going shotgun.
How much
Low
oxygen
Neal's
in the car?
back seat asleep.
No.
As we're driving east on 80. Guru and I had an unscheduled stop we had to make. Shout out Shaney Shane. So we go off the 80. We make an unscheduled stop. We get there. We broadcast. The Raiders, I mean, that game was over before it started.
Oh, Jadeveon
Thank-
Clowney dominated that
Thank
game.
God TikTok wasn't out yet.
Dude,
you
have no idea.
you would have been all
so
over the
we
internet.
stayed the night, and the next morning, I'm like, guys, we need to leave early.
Yeah.
It's like whiteout
gonna snow.
conditions.
Yeah.
It is dumping snow, and I'm behind the wheel with the two of these guys, and Guru is white knuckling, legitimate. I've never seen his knuckles so white in all my years. Low again in the asleep.
Did
in
he
the
have his
back.
shirt on? Did Lowe keep his shirt on?
Yes, Guru's got sunglasses on.
Of course.
Low's asleep in the back, and your boy is.
Oh my God. Hydroplaning.
Oh, dude.
Oh my goodness.
Trying to get this precious cargo back to the bay.
Wow.
It's a great story.
It's an all-time classic.
Wow.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
game was so bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well,
Alan.
that's
It
what
was a
that's
rough-
what-
it was
that's
a rough go.
that's
No, it
what
was
can happen when your starting quarterback gets hurt going into the playoffs. Then
But I mean, Connor
sometimes
Cook
it
didn't
doesn't
have
go
the
that way.
experience that Brock
Right.
Purdy has,
Right,
and so,
right.
and you know, you went
Although
into that
Brock
game as a
looked-
Raider fan, and you thought, I mean, there's okay if X and Y and Z all go right, and then by the time he takes his first snap
It was-
and he's trembling, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, this game's
Well,
over.
you talk about polarizing players for whatever. Obviously, the Raiders moving on from Derek Carr. That's the guy. I mean, when he broke that foot, he's just never been the same.
Right.
He's never been the same. And I don't know what he was going to be. I don't think he would have been Joe Montana if he didn't break his foot. But he truly started seeing ghosts after that. So you never know what could happen. And that's
Yeah.
what we were talking about. Super Bowl windows. He might be a rookie. He might be Mr. Irrelevant. But you're only going to get so many cracks at it with this core.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's ask. So that leads perfectly into what we were just talking
That's
about
what
in the other
Styles
room.
does.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's the
Styles.
point
That was
guard.
Styles. I mean, Styles make fights, and here we are.
that should be a segment. I like that.
It should.
go.
It should. So, Brock Purdy, we are so caught up in Mr. Irrelevant, and he's a rookie, and he's a back. Look at all the labels we
I know.
give him.
It's
You're
his
Mr.
first start.
Irrelevant, you're a rookie, you're a backup, you're a third stringer. It's all about this. And therefore, that is actually the only data. It's in our brain. It's not facts. It's in our brain. It's the only data that suggests Brock Purdy can't get to the Super Bowl. Because what we know historically tells us that a person with those labels is not allowed to go to the Super Bowl. If you actually look at what's happening, let's go to WAR, for example. If you actually look at the numbers, he's the top-rated quarterback in the NFL since he came in.
Yeah.
He's tied for the NFL lead in touchdown passes, all of those things. And then look at this. We keep saying he can't go to the Super Bowl. Well, then who can? Give me the list.
that was-
the NFC quarterbacks.
Man.
And you look at their resumes.
That he needs to beat.
I know.
Is take the GOAT and put him over here at age 45. And we just did the addition in the other room. all of the NFC quarterbacks not named Tom have a combined 2 playoff wins. Kirk won, Dak won.
Oh, Dak. I didn't think Dak had one. Okay, I know Kirk's 1-3 or 1-4.
He doesn't need to beat anybody he doesn't need to beat Mahomes.
Well, and
he doesn't need to beat Allen, and he doesn't need to beat Burrow.
Total playoff wins by NFC quarterback 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 35.
It's crazy.
They have a combined 37 playoff wins. The seven of
And
them.
you know what?
Oh,
I'm
my
taking Tom
gosh.
Brady to beat the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
I think
it's early in the week,
he might.
but I
think he might.
I am. I just can't do it. I can't.
I love
take
the
him.
under in that game. I don't think either
You
team.
like the under?
It's 45.5. I don't.
Yeah.
And Tampa Bay has gone a long way this year by not scoring the football. But Mark likes to lean into these odd lines.
When things don't make sense, there's a reason.
So what do you eject in that situation?
No,
he goes the other way.
You either don't play or go the other way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't
glad
do
I
any
talked you
betting,
off of
guys, so
TCU
I'm
yesterday.
fascinated by this.
You were thinking about leaning into TCU yesterday.
when I saw that, like when you look at this,
14.
when you look at I told you the trap was the idea. Why is TCU getting so many points? So this actually goes to the philosophy I'm trying to explain here, which is that if you look at those semifinal games, you'd be like, TCU plus 2 touchdowns? Of course I'll take
They
that.
scored like 80 in the game
But
before.
I go, that feels like a trap. I go, Georgia might beat them up. I didn't think they'd beat them up like that.
Stenson Bennett,
That
the
was
next Brock
ridiculous.
Purdy all over the timeline.
You know what? I'm kind of out on. We always got to label these
You're
people.
triggering
Why?
Mark right
Yeah.
now. Why does everyone need a comp?
Why
No,
does
I'm with you, but like
everyone needs to be
Because
someone
it's
else?
fun.
What-
So Stetson
Wait a
Bennett
minute.
is an undersized, accurate, plucky little
Greg
guy.
McElroy.
Plucky
He's
little
Greg
southern
McElroy.
white guy.
That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, but shout out Brock Purdy for in 6 games now being
That's what I'm
someone that
saying.
someone else can. The next Brock Purdy, I don't even know what Brock Purdy
Exactly.
is yet.
After
Oh,
5
he's Tom
games, I
Brady.
thought Jimmy was going to the Hall of
He's the
Fame
next
for
Tom
crying out
Brady,
loud.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Exactly.
they still keep now we're going to think about it like this. Kyle Shanahan has a team that is full of players that draft personnel and everybody they try to pull from. Now you add Brock Purdy. You're always looking for the next Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
They're all every year there's some
Bosa.
kid in South Carolina who is the next Debo.
Yeah.
Every year there's the next Bosa every single year. Now we're looking for the next Brock Purdy. They do it every year, and Kyle Shanahan, however he does it, he finds guys that are just so unique that you're
But
going
the
in the
irony
draft.
of that is that he actually thought it was Trey Lance, and now it's Brock Purdy. Like,
Right.
isn't
Yeah,
there
but
something?
but
But
the
he
funny
took
thing
Trey
is,
Lance. He
No,
could
I-
have
no,
taken any of the. He could have taken one of the 4 of us. He
could take
have
Justin
taken
Fields,
any other
yes.
human being on the
Exactly.
planet.
That would have been a bad
But
pick.
he went to Brock Purdy. I'm
Yeah,
with
I
my
can't
knees.
process.
I got a broken finger.
Yeah, exactly.
Run the
I broke
option
my
a
finger
little bit.
trying to open a
But
door
you get
on
what I'm
Saturday.
saying, though, Dibs? Like, he gets credit for that. I'm not, but like, it's just the sport is so weird.
By the way, though,
sport is insane.
you just made me think of something else. So, due January 12th, I just took the Odyssey unconscious bias training on
Nice.
the email
Okay.
last
Okay.
night. And by
the
the way,
last one was 4 hours.
Right. No, this one's very quick. So
Okay.
so I did this, and then you just made me think of it because that's unconscious bias is exactly what we're doing
that?
when we tell you who this might be the next fill in the
Right.
blank.
Well, that's what we do.
If you notice, there's a racial element to
Always.
it always. Right? If you get a white cornerback, it's the next Jason Sehorn. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
yeah.
So there's a racial element to
course.
it. There's a speed element to it. There's even the physical element
You've
to it.
seen the Bill Burr, right?
Of course,
A white guy
dude.
can only be scrappy. He has to. No black guy is allowed to be
right.
scrappy.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
Right?
Or hardworking.
Oh, I would describe you as scrappy in the outfield.
Yeah, or hardworking. The only time the only time I've seen a black-white comparison, the only time has been Josh Allen to Cam Newton.
Well, Christian McCaffrey, when he
Okay.
was coming out, that's a good
Only
one.
time.
Well,
Christian
and then Trey
McCaffrey,
Lance to Josh Allen.
Yeah,
and then Trey
Did it
Lance
right
to Josh
back to him
Allen
on the other side.
We were calling him on this show at night. We were calling him. He's Marshall Faulk, and everyone's like, "What?" I'm like, Christian McCaffrey is Marshall Faulk. Like they're the same kind of guy in terms of what they do on the field.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "No." And the Toby Gerhart thing
Right.
was one of the reasons why.
Yeah, that feels a lot more comfortable
Yeah.
to me.
No, but that's what people are like. Well, you can't take a Stanford guy because
Right.
of Toby Gerhart. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, you're doing more with that one.
Well,
No,
and
you got to
that's
keep
why
it
the-
racial, and you got to keep it conference too.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Thank
white
you.
guy from the Pac-12, white guy from the Pac-12.
And
I feel much better.
sometimes even the same uniform. Like if
stupid.
anybody, the Patriots Patriots.
I
The
can't
reason
take an Ohio State quarterback.
The reason the Patriots are not winning is not because they don't have an offensive coordinator or a great quarterback. It's because they don't have a little white guy in the slot.
100%.
Where is Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola, and Wes Welker? Where are they?
Like Stetson Bennett. He'll be there next year. He'll be their little white slot.
Yeah, Trey,
it's done.
Switch him over. You will never hear, and to that vein, you will never hear any black receiver compared to Cooper Kupp.
No.
Ever.
Yeah.
They could be the same exact
That's a
player.
great
Next
call.
Cooper
That's
Kupp.
a great
They
call.
could
be the same
I think
exact
Justin
player.
Jefferson is the next Cooper
Yeah.
Kupp. Yeah. How do you
That's
feel
a
about
great
that?
call.
Cerebral player.
So you guys got salty.
Very.
Softy.
Softy.
Salty.
R.I.P.
Salty Malty.
Salty is
R.I.P.
salty.
Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah, Softy is salty.
Softy.
I thought you were looking at the hail and thinking about the salt. Maybe that's rock salt from
Brother,
Yeah,
that was a
it's-
hell of a storm that just rolled
goodness.
through.
Yeah,
coming
it's
out.
definitely
Good
hailing.
Lord.
So are we going toe to toe with him? Because he just likes to grab the mic and keep going.
No, he's gonna. So it's funny. Our Softy experience this year, because similar to the Niners having to play the Seahawks 3 times, we now have to successfully have Softy on the air 3 times. Not easy to do in the same year,
Right.
But
Although
we'll
we
try.
bumped him last time.
We did bump
We
him.
got bumped.
Yeah, we'll see how he handles that.
Yeah.
Is
But
it a bail technique like
I feel-
Richard Sherman?
Completely.
So the-
Francisco.
the first time he comes on,
They
what
play
it's
in Santa Clara.
it's week 2,
Just
right?
knock it off.
Wasn't the first game
Yes,
week 2? All right.
something like
So there wasn't anything to say yet.
His bail technique is spectacular.
But didn't he tell us that he thought when that whole Seahawks were 6-2 thing was going on that they were going to make the playoffs? And he was right, but they sort of backed in a little bit, like they did not have a good. So I wonder if he's going to come in cocky, or if my guess, he comes in and goes, dude, if you guys
It's
don't
found
win
money.
this,
Exactly. No doubt.
if you
No
don't
doubt.
win
No
this,
doubt. Yeah.
you are a big old paper tiger. That's going to be my guess.
Of course.
as the tone he's
Of
trying
course,
to
yeah. And, you know.
Were you doing hits with him this week?
I hope he reaches out because, you know,
inappropriate.
although last time I was on with Softy and Dick, who is his partner, which is maybe the best named show in the entire country. Dick Fane's his
inappropriate.
partner.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, Softy and Dick. They're a great tandem. And, you know, Softy
That's hilarious.
plays more the role of Butcher Boy, runs a little bit hot. Dick's a little bit more measured, I think a little bit older, but
Yeah.
they have a great show.
Take it easy.
What?
I mean,
Softy and Dick, Mark.
I know. You didn't have to say
It's
Dick's a
their
little bit
show.
more measured. You didn't need to say that.
I
You
didn't have to.
You didn't.
Up in
Just
2
take it
minutes, I
easy,
come
all
to
right?
Alan
Paint
Styles.
team?
Just
But,
take
uh,
it easy. All right?
Ansel
yeah.
Adams over here.
Exactly. It's their show, and he is much more measured. Dick is much more measured.
You don't need girth.
Thank you. Before we go any
Pause.
Oh
further,
my God,
Pause.
Steiny, where did that drop come from?
that was Mark.
Oh, was that Mark?
You don't need more girth. Yeah, it's Willard.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
So he's coming
Offensively.
down my road for my foul mouth, but meanwhile he's talking about
yours is purposeful.
Yes.
Life is about intent, Dibs. Go
we
ahead.
need to we need to shed light on the biggest loss in the Bay Area, and I mean Alan Styles. We got to talk about it. Subpar golf. You and the missus.
Yeah.
Love the pictures on Instagram.
Okay.
I'm a
I missed
I'm a
this.
big follower of A Styles on the gram.
All right.
You took a road loss. Did you lay down for the missus, who's probably second trimester by now?
She is, yeah.
Did you take an intentional L, or did she flat out beat you?
No, I don't do that. She's look. She played softball. She's
She can
legit.
roll a rock.
Yeah, she can. She did some things, and subpar that Dibs is talking about. Subpar in Alameda, it just opened up. It's an indoor mini golf. Imagine
cool.
urban putt and SF, but much
Yeah.
bigger.
Yeah.
And all of the holes are themed for areas in the Bay Area.
that's
Like
cool.
one
Well,
is like
actually,
Cal
It's
Stadium.
incredible,
So-
the landmarks.
Don't
Really?
they? That's the same. That's an extension of one. They have one at Ghirardelli Square.
That's what they were saying.
Subpar. Yeah, which
exactly.
is actually so.
new.
The comp to urban putt, because urban putt is just on steroids.
It is.
Like, I mean,
It's
you go
hard.
in there, right? Wear
really
sunglasses. There is
Yeah.
so much going on.
take
Right.
the 50
It's
bucks.
like
Subpar's the same
sensory
way.
overload.
So I'm looking at his Instagram feed, and I'm like, oh, look at Alan out with the missus, and she's second trimester, so I'm obviously invested. I got
Yeah.
a 4-month-old, and I'm really proud of both you. Congratulations in
thank
advance.
You and your future, the two of you
All of that,
coaching.
I cannot wait. Your daughter, my daughter, we can
Let's
lock
do
in.
it.
We can lock horns in a little back court. My daughter's tiny, so she's got to play the one. But I'm watching this feed, and I'm like, Styles is in trouble.
No,
He's in
it got
trouble.
bad. It got bad, and I had an opportunity. The the back nine, and she goes, hole-in-one to start it.
Whoa.
And it
tell you what.
it was over.
Right.
She's
So
clutch.
I love that this came up because
What's her war?
with
Yeah.
this, with
Dude,
this,
she's like a 4.7 war.
right? I mean, with this weather, I think indoor mini putt is probably having a hell of a week.
That's right.
I ended
Yes.
up with a party of 5 at Urban Putt just last Saturday, and let's just say everybody ended up throwing a couple bucks in the hat into the
wow.
center. And I was both defeated by my 15-year-old son and tied by the lovely Christy, who does the savage states on the first hole. I have not had a mini putting putter in my hand since I was 8 years old.
And
rolls the rock in the hole. A hole in one on the first hole, which has to go through 2 obstacles.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I mean, we were all intimidated from the second we
I
started.
saw Alan's better half, and the one clip I saw, she hits him with the up the ramp, double loop-de-loop.
It was a roller coaster. It was a roller coaster.
It's just-
That's when I knew you were in trouble.
If you were going to ask me what happened, we just didn't play our best ball. And, we came out, didn't play our best ball, and we just had to figure it out. And unfortunately,
95.7 The Game.
breaking news?
Breaking news.
All right, we've got breaking news. Per Jeff Passan, it looks like Carlos Correa, and the Twins, $200 million, 6 years, 7 years, or 6? Is it
6 years?
6 years.
Pay the under.
200 million.
We had a little bet yesterday on what the number was. I said 7.5 was the over-under on contract years. But, hey, you don't get paid out yet because he's got to pass a physical, I'm sure.
yeah, another
He's gotta
part
pass
3.
Wow.
Olivia Newton-John.
So,
Yeah,
so here's the
Wow.
question that I have for Scott Boras, because I don't want to lose my mind on the Giants just yet. I want to know why the Giants weren't allowed back into the conversations, because by all accounts, it sounds like from the people that are in the know, Boras has been hanging the phone up on them.
So this is probably we don't know that that's true.
But
Right.
that's what I'm just saying. What the reports were.
So and Farhan sort of indicated that, I guess, in that presser where he said, I think they've moved on to other teams. But I will also just caution that when it comes to stuff like this, and there's so much secrecy and the physical, the physical and the stuff we can't talk about, I have no idea if the Giants even wanted back in. Right? Like, we can't say that is a question for them when they speak on this again.
when they speak on it.
Well, now, if a physical ever gets passed, which we still don't know,
Right.
but if a physical
Right.
ever gets passed,
This
I
seems
think
nuts.
then it does open it back up for another set of questions. And that would be one of the ones that I would love to know an answer to,
The
which is,
6 year-
did you even want back in?
Well, at 6
Did
years,
You'd better for 6 years.
Yeah, because 6 years for 200 to me is way better value. I know
Way
the
better
injuries
than
part.
13.
Put the injury aside. No player in any sport, whether it's bonds or whatever, 13 years, I'll go 6, 7 years, which is what we discussed a couple weeks ago.
I don't disagree, but understand what just happened to his annual. His AAV just went through the damn roof.
Yes.
The Giants were going to pay him less than 27 per year. I haven't done the math. What's six?
Yeah, but
what's
it's
200 divided by 6?
basically.
$33 million. It went up 7 million a year.
That's half a DeSclafani.
No. I get that. I'm not saying it's too expensive.
Yeah.
I'm saying that without knowing what they saw and how they felt about it, I don't even know if they wanted to do 6. We don't know that.
Yeah, but-
and obviously neither did the Mets.
But what
The
happens?
Mets who wanted to
I know,
do 12,
that's- well,
they don't want to do
yeah.
6.
I told you about this Mets
So-
thing. Something's up with this $300 million payroll. There's more to be told on this one.
Vesting option, by the way, also. So the deal can max out at 270 and is pending a physical.
How
But
does
that's-
Minnesota have that kind of money?
But that's what I don't understand, this whole pending a physical thing. Since it's less years, is the physical different? Why would he pass his physical
you're
now?
more likely. So what they were saying, what Sampson has said over the like a 1 or 2 year deal. If there's something going on, that you're more likely to approve that. Your trainers and say, we'll overlook some stuff up in the shoulder. A 13-year commitment
Right,
is you're basically taking a guy till the end of his career. So if anything's going to pop up, it's going to pop up in their mid
And if
30s.
you've got a plate in your ankle,
Yeah,
which is
right.
reportedly what he has,
Right, so
6
there's
years,
not-
it's less likely to flare
So
up.
not passing a physical, there's not one, if just for those of us that might not know, it's not the same physical that you
Well,
pass or fail.
It's not pass fail.
No,
it's are we
what are
in
you
or are we
comfortable
out?
with?
Yeah,
Right.
what are you
It's like
comfortable
we're
with?
looking
Yes.
at this.
So he didn't pass the Giants' physical.
Or the Mets, really.
Or the Mets
and
physical.
He passed it, but
Yes.
they're worried about 8 years,
Exactly.
9
They
years
wanted to
from now.
renegotiate on particular interests. You know what? We got to get out of here. You guys got Softy Mahler at 10 o'clock, but Willard and Dibs coming up right now, 95.7 The Game.